People sitting at the back are requested to occupy the seats in the front row.
Settle down, please. Hate must never submit itself, neither to a dogma, nor to a party, nor to a passion, nor to an interest, nor to a preconceived idea, nor to whatever it may be, if not to the fact themselves. Because for it, to submit would be to cease to be. With these words of Jules Henry, I, Richa Prasad,
And I, Ashwin Murli,
wish you a very good morning and welcome you all to the second day of the Leadership Conclave 2013-14. Day one witnessed some of the eminent speakers like Mr. Tony George, Mr. Jaideep Ghosh, Mr. Raj Liverhan, and other stalwarts from the industry share their thoughts and suggestions on how to make the industry-academia collaboration more fruitful. There were intensive discussions on how to smoothen the progress from the academia to the industry, and how can the society, the largest stakeholder, be benefited by the collaboration of the two. We are looking forward to having the similar perspectives and insights from the engagements scheduled for the day.
let me just brief you on the schedule for the day. First, we will have a presentation by the students of IIM Kashipur on the industry-academia collaboration. Then, we will have the introduction of the first theme of the day by one of our speakers. This will be followed by a tea break. Then we will have a small panel discussion on the first theme of the day. We break for lunch at 1 p.m. This will be followed by a panel discussion on the second theme of the day, which will be followed by a networking break. We will again have another panel discussion on the second theme of the day. We expect to call the day off by 6 p.m. Now, for the first event of the day, I call upon my batchmates, Mr. Bharat Bansal and Ms. Vibhagar, to present on the topic Industry-Academia Collaboration. Please join me on stage. Ms. Vibhagar and Mr. Bharat.
Everyone, am I audible? At the back? No? Now? Am I audible? So, we all are here to discuss industry-academia collaboration. Bharat and I would address the problem how industry and academia collaboration can happen at an inclusive level so that it is beneficial to both the parties. We help you navigate through the innovation space of the industry and how industry and academia can collaborate in the innovation space. Over to Bharat.
Good morning, everyone. Robert Solow, the Nobel Prize winning economist, once said that if countries wish to grow sustainably, they must embrace technological innovation. The same is true for an industry which is so dynamic, the competitive landscape changing continuously. So let us talk about what innovation means, what it used to mean in the first place. So when we look at how innovation was perceived in the past, we have the simple model where one company used to ideate, develop, put money, research, develop the idea and then commercialize it. Why this? There are three basic reasons. First is that the companies had a skepticism of bringing a technology. They did not want others to know what was going on within the four walls of their organization. Everything was done by one company. They might or might not have the competitive advantage in that. For example, Microsoft during the dot-com bubble. It might be very good at developing the product, coming up with a new version of Windows, but not so good at marketing. But it did all the three because it did not want to lose its competitive advantage. And the third was the development costs and the product life cycle, which was not so harsh for the companies at that point. The development cost was lower, the customer was not so demanding, so you had certain leverage when it came to innovation, and you could afford that. But let us talk about the present. What is happening now? Let us take the example of open innovation, which is happening in one of the most companies which is at the forefront in this area, Procter and Gamble. So let us take 3 of the products. The first is Olay, which happened through chemical innovation. It collaborated with Cinema, a pioneer in the peptide technology, and developed the product Olay, which was an anti-aging cream. The next is product innovation, Spin Brush. This happened in 1999 when P&G, a giant at that time, collaborated with one of the entrepreneurs to come up with a technology that became the best-selling product for them. Let's also look at academic collaboration, which is pretty much the theme of this academic conclave. You have Bifandis, which is a probiotic product, which is developed by a collaboration between Procter and Gamble and a university in Ireland. It was a project which went on for 10 years. They came out with this product, and it became a best-selling product. Now, all these ideas, which are happening through collaboration, flow into the open innovation pool of P&G. P&G, which is very good at marketing, very good at developing and revamping products, goes to the market and makes the sales. Now, why open innovation? When we talk about open innovation, we move from research and development to connect and development. There are 5 basic reasons that I could identify. The first is an accidental innovation that happens in some other company becomes a useful resource for you. For example, Xerox, which was a pioneer in developing products for desktop computing, developed products like GUI, even the mouse, and Apple adopted it very effectively into its structure, and then reaped high profits. The second is companies fitting into the value chain. Let's take the example of Qualcomm. When the CDMA technology was introduced, Qualcomm wanted to place its product, but it was not sure because nobody wanted to jump in this innovation cycle. So what they did was bring the vendors and the users together, and ultimately driving up the sales. Third is it reduces the financial burden on the company. An interesting example is that of Pringles. P&G again wanted to innovate in terms of in the snack market by making it more jazzy. So what they decided was they could come up with figures and sketches to print on the chips, but they did not have the in-house technology for this. What they did, they went to a bakery. Can you imagine a small bakery in Bulangana, and then outsource the technology to them instead of investing tens of millions of dollars in the technology. They developed the product and sold it. Allows the companies to diversify and adapt to new markets easily. Again, P&G trying to diversify the social and mobile media market by collaborating with a number of startups in this space. Internal innovation cannot be sustained beyond a certain level. Like Solo said, that innovation is important, but you tend to stagnate if you do not open up. You need to open up at some point. This will be elaborated in the second half of the presentation. Now I've talked about innovation, and industry-academic collaboration is one of the great ways through which open innovation can happen. So now let me hand over the mic to Vibha to talk about this.
The problem that we are trying to solve is how can industry-academia collaboration in research reap profits greater than realized by other forms of industry engagement. In academics, students have ideas that have real-world applications, but they do not have the proper network and channel to showcase their ideas to industry. On the other hand, industry are willing to fund these research ideas, but they are unaware of the research problems that can be solved due to the lack of integrated channel. So, we propose the Open Innovation Platform, wherein industry posts challenges and academia solves those problems. So what are the advantages to industry? Firstly, it develops a pipeline for recognition of R&D talent. It will enable the industry to hire beyond an interview generate a new stream of business. It will also extend the innovation capability of industry. This would help them realize the power of more, which is better than power of few. As you might be aware that not all smart people work for an organization. So this enables them to realize the innovation capability of the company. Now, what are the advantages to academia? It will enhance the problem solving abilities of the students. Second, it will increase the awareness in which the industry operates. Third, it will incentivize the problem solving skills of students. Now, why are we talking about open innovation in this? Now, to realize this ecosystem, it is important for industries to make their innovation model open so that the boundaries of the firm are permeable to the external environment. Now, what's new in this? We have open innovation portals like 1 Billion Minds, InnoCentrium. What is the new thing that we are proposing? Well, the new thing that we are proposing is a dedicated link between industry and academia. There are problems in current open innovation models which we are trying to solve via this solution. The problems like, how can you align the best solution commercialized as per the business requirement? Second problem, how can you motivate people to solve the problems without the promise of substantial return? Third problem, IP transfer. So if you collaborate with academia, then these issues could be simplified. For example, IP transfer issue could be simplified, and at given point of time, you have a assured base of people who would work on your problems. Now, the innovation framework that we have adopted in this model is a competitive problem-solving based approach, wherein industry needs to study the dynamic environment and formulate the problems in form of discrete challenges. Second thing is they float the problem to this portal, and in this the most important thing is the decision of IP treatment for the solutions. Third is solution evaluation, wherein the solutions that would be generated would be diverted to a set of subject matter experts. Third is you engage with the winners. So basically you are getting the best solution, you are reducing your cost by getting the best solution, and you engage with the best solution. This is the whole framework. Now, what are the features of this open innovation portal that you are proposing? The first is knowledge repository, wherein you can have knowledge of generalized and specialized base. In generalized base, you can have the knowledge that is relevant to an area, and in the specialized base, you can have the knowledge relevant to the problem. In this, industry can put the updated information on the areas in which they are working. In fact, this could be the part of CSR activity for industries. Second is research engine. In this, you can search for the required knowledge resource and the queries. Third, chat rooms. Imagine you have a query and there's an automatic bot. You just type your query and then you subject matter experts to answer your query. Fourth feature of this portal, an analytic tool that will help industry to have an overview of the information matrix on solvers. A simplified version of the revenue model of this open innovation portal would be subscription fees charged from the institutes involved to use for utilizing the service of the platform. Second channel could be through the industry or the solution seekers, and third source could be individuals. So we have tried to address the problem at an inclusive level. Let's utilize this platform of Conclave to get to some concrete action rather than each time talking about how we can solve the problem. Let's have an integrated approach to solve this problem and address it at a large level. A long and a tough road lies ahead of us.
So let us be ready to take the orders.
To ensure that youth meets experience.
To ensure that industry practice meets management science.
Let us join our hands in this endeavor.
Let us be ready to empower each other.
It is the time to initiate a change.
It is the time we rewrite the rules of the game.
Now we are in making their innovation open. Anybody from industry would like to answer this? Like, what are the challenges that you would face if you make the innovation open?
After the very good morning to all of you. And Vibha and Bharat would have done a great job, I think, wonderful presentation. Without innovation, industry cannot survive. I think you have to move along with the change. And if you don't move along with the change, you will be no more. You can see Indian Post Office. You can see some of the telecom companies.